Coming up in part 2, I decorate my kitty ornaments, I also refurb my hanging baskets, and my new shed gets built and put into place. And so with a lovely glorious Sunday morning, myself and my neighbour headed off to the garden centre to go and get a few bits and pieces that we needed. And we actually ended up with 2 trolleys. The second trolley isn't pictured because we couldn't fit it all in this trolley. And then we went on to Wickes to go and pick up my new shed for the garden. And on my return home, I discovered the wind had knocked down my washing line. In fact, the pole had rusted through. Typical, I was right by the range where I could have picked up a new washing line. Dole! And that afternoon, it was back to painting my kitties, and I painted their main eyes white. I've just got to let this paint dry, and then I'll do their black pupils. So this is my other garden project that I've got. It's repaint these lovely hanging baskets I bought a couple of years ago at Home Bargains, and I only bought 3 of them, and I've never seen them since. However, obviously, as you can see, they're getting a little bit rusty, so I thought I'd paint them up with, let me show you, Friendship weatherproof inside outside chalk and mineral furniture paint, and it's called Swanky Pants. And if you're wondering what that paint colour looks like, it's exactly the same as this table. So without further ado, I've got 3 of these to do, so let's begin. That's just me doing one of the leaves. And as you can see, that looks amazing against everything else. So yes, was it worth it? Yes. Does it take me long? No. Let's continue. As I say, I've only got 3 of these to do. Right, that's the first one all done. Let's do the other one. Right, so this is the second hanging basket I've done. That was the first, and that's the third, and that's what they used to look like. But it's getting cold and late. It's nearly 8 o'clock, so I'm going to paint that one tomorrow, and I might need to touch up those 2 tomorrow. I also brought my garden ornaments in because we were due a frost that night too. And after work, as it was still such a lovely evening, I decided to get outside and paint the eyes of my kittens. And I also gave them a few little markings on the back of them also. And so this is their finished glow up. But did you ever wonder what they looked like before? I happened to stumble across this photo on my Facebook page, and I was like, oh, this is what they used to look like. So this is one of my hanging baskets that I planted up, as you can see, all painted, looking lovely. And then I put a pansy in, lobelia, training lobelia, a fuchsia. There, it's got a bud on it already. If I can see that. And then this plant beginning with C, I can't remember what it's called. And in the middle, I have put a begonia. So, yeah. So I'm going to do the same for all the other 3 hanging baskets. Other 2 hanging baskets, rather. There's this one that's ready to be potted up. And then I actually painted that one last night. So this is the other hanging basket I've done. I've got yellow pansy in there. Lobelia there. Purpley viola. Calabricia, I think it's called Calabrinia, whatever it's called. And then I've got a fuchsia here that's got a bud on it. You can see there. And then in the middle, again, I've got another begonia. Yeah, it looks really odd. It's just that it's been growing in the packet. So yeah, that will hopefully shoot upwards. But yeah, that's the 3rd hanging basket. But the 2nd of the leaf design one. Right, let's go and do the 3rd one. And so now it's time to plant up the next 2, seeing as I had the morning off work. And then it was time to sort out this little area, because tomorrow my builder neighbour is going to come and do my new shed for me. And do you remember on Saturday I came home to my washing line having snapped? Well, my neighbour opposite actually said to me, I've got a washing line that I'm not using, so you're more than welcome to have it. In fact, only a few weeks before, she nearly put it on the skip. So I got myself a bowl of washing up water and I wiped down every single strand of the washing line and the poles. And I thought I'd show you my irises looking absolutely stunning. And here are my red hot poker plants looking absolutely gorgeous. And I'm loving how colourful and cottagey my garden feels right now. I also have this red iris in bloom too. And then I just happened to notice my citrus bush was also in bloom. And wow, these flowers are amazing and loved by all the bees. It's just such a shame that the flowers open in the morning and then drop by the evening. And after a busy day of 2 cleans and a late evening finish, I came home to the start of my new shed being put together. I have no idea how excited I am for this to be built. Now, I was up and out the house bright and early, so on my return I came home to this. Yay! My shed has been installed. And so here is my new kettle shed. And yeah. So I haven't got a lock on it yet. But here you go. And then you can unclip that bit. And I'm trying to do this one-handed, which is quite difficult. There you go. And it opens like so. Now, having this here means I can't get to my gas box down there, but I haven't had to use it in a while. But I will be getting rid of this. So later on, after Formula 1, I'll move everything from here into here. Now obviously this has a shelf that keeps bowing, whereas this one doesn't have a shelf. So I'm thinking of getting some plastic shelving that you can get and putting it in here, and yeah, doing it that way. So yes, I just need to measure the height of this to have a look at the plastic storage. But yeah, there is my shed, and later on I will move the stuff across from my wooden shed to this new shed. Now, a few weeks back I actually asked my builder neighbour if he could move my washing line stake into a new position. And what was meant to be a simple job actually turned out into him needing to use a long drill bit and lots of hammering. Because back when my house was built in 1992, of course they do what any new build does and dump a whole load of concrete and rubble underneath everything. Unfortunately, with all the hammering, the metal spike actually lost its shape, so he actually put a PVC pipe in the ground for me and cemented it in. And later on that evening I shoved everything from the wooden shed into this storage shed. Now yes, it looks higgledy-piggledy, but I actually could do with some plastic storage shelving. And after putting a protective film coat on this welcoming sign, I finally put it in my planter by the front door. And of course I put a protective coat over the kitties too and put them in the border. I have since also planted this raised bed up with my petit pois and my mange too, along with some homegrown lettuce. However, that died, so I had to go out and buy some more. And this is my strawberry bed and my raspberry bed. However, I haven't done much else to this since. So this afternoon I didn't have a client clean, so what better way to enjoy an afternoon off by going to a garden centre. And of course I went to Squire's Garden Centre in Stanmore. And after buying the plants and things, I decided to treat myself to some lunch. This is an egg Caesar salad. And if you're into Jeremy Clarkson and Diddley Squat Farm, Squire's Garden Centre are now selling some of their range. So with no client clean this afternoon, I decided to take myself back off to Squire's Garden Centre, and I need to get some more strolch to put on my borders over there. I'm going to start doing that. And I bought this double pot that hangs on a fence. That was on offer for $8.99. I was going to get a second one, but I thought no, get one to begin with. I then bought some petunias, and they are for my dad's hanging basket. So I got 2 of those for my dad's hanging basket. I got this Calabriccio for my dad's hanging basket. And I've got another petunia for me to go in here. And another petunia for me to put into there. But I'm going to pot it up a bit. And I got another ducky for my pond because the other one's got a hole in it. So I bought another ducky. And I bought a fuchsia for my dad's hanging basket. And I got a big pack of 20 begonias to put in some of the tubs. And I also bought some lettuce as my first lot died. So this lettuce, the Blora Rosso. So I bought some, I've cheated. I could have done some seeds, but I decided no, let's just get a packet of them. And I got some compost because I need to put some bulbs in some pots, so I need some more compost. And then I bought some more seed trays ready for next year, but also I do need to do my cucamelons. So yeah, so I've also picked up my dad's very dead looking hanging basket, and I'm going to pot this up right now. And there you have it, Dad's hanging basket all potted up and ready to take down to theirs. And as I was finishing up in the garden for the evening, I saw the little fox come by. And here is my balcony planter all potted up, hanging on the fence just outside my kitchen window, so I can see it when I'm doing the washing up. And my Matlock Smiles roses are in bloom and looking and smelling amazing, as is my tiger rosebush. I thought it was going to die on me, but actually I've got a flower bud on it, hurrah! And the citrus bush right outside my porch is looking stunning. It looks even more colourful than this photo is. And my patty plum poppies are now in bloom. These actually look pink in the photo, but they're actually purple. And my Maryberry rosebush is also in bloom. Oh, and you know my fireworks stake lights that I have out in the garden? Well, Aldi actually released some more last week, so I bought 3 more for my garden. And literally the day after the patty plum poppies opened, my pink poppy opened and looks absolutely amazing. Blue Blue's checking out my shed for the final time. You can't go up there. No. You checking out my shed? Yeah, I'm clearing it out. It's going. Yeah, you're out. Okay. I'm going to attempt to pull the shed down. A lot of people say, why are you putting it down? Well, this is gone. As you can see, it's just brittle now. It's gone. And as you can see, the wood is pretty much rotten. The wood's rotten here, here, and yes, you could replace them. But actually, this door lets in water. I've had it readjusted several times, and yeah, I've had this shed like 13 years. And then here, as you can see, it's just had its day. So it's time to dismantle this. This used to be attached to the side, but over the years it came off. So yeah, the only one I've got to dismantle is the clematis on this side, and I've got a few poles that I can, canes that I can put in here and tie it to. It's not ideal to be moving it off here, but that's what I've got to do. And that's just my broom that doesn't actually fit in there. It's too tall, so I need to put it in the other shed. So I'm going to take this off the door, and then I'm going to remove said hooks and keep those along with all the picture pins, and yeah, dismantle it if I can. Hopefully I can. I can't remember how it went together, even though I was around when it went together, but yeah, let's try and dismantle this. So as I said, I had to take the clematis off the side of the shed, which I've done, and I've just temporarily put it against the other fence, and hopefully it will recover. Okay, this shed stumps me. Like, how the hell do you take it apart? I mean, obviously I put it together. Well, my dad's neighbours put it together and did the concrete base like 13 years ago, 12 years ago. But I don't remember how they put it together. Note to self, check for any screws, because you missed those bits, Hannah, and they were the bits that were holding it all together, not the tongue and groove part. Okay, so I managed to get a piece of tongue groove out with using my hammer, and that's a bit of tongue groove that was already breaking and had shrunk. What's that saying? Slow and steady wins the race. I think I'll be here till midnight taking every single tongue groove piece off. But I'm getting there. No, I didn't need to take off all that tongue and groove, because right there in the base were 4 screws that were holding it all together at the base. And then when you turn the shed round, there are some at the back as well. And that collapsed the whole lot. The base is loose, but I can't even kick it out at the sides, otherwise I'd give it a big old kick. Just when you think you're losing, you spot something vital. There's some screws down here. Maybe if I undo those, it will come away from the base. Yeah, let's try that. So this is the concrete slabs I had laid, and then this is the back of my old shed. Now I've just discovered there are actually screws, so let's undo those screws and hopefully it will all come apart. After a lot of wrestling, I finally got the back of this off. I tell you, this has taken me hours, and it would have been a simple job for my builder neighbour had I have asked him, but never mind. Right, let's take this back piece out and then do the sides and the roof. I win! Ha ha! I might be small, but I am mighty, and I won that one. Thank you, shed. And then it was time just to sweep over these concrete slabs to make it all nice and clean and tidy. And there you have it. This is where I wanted to put my bins. Unfortunately, I haven't got enough room to put my third bin there because it's not that slim. And of course, this greenhouse is actually in the way of my gas box. So I am going to have to move this for safety reasons, and then I'll be able to fit the bin there. So I'm still wearing my gloves, but yeah, that was a long evening trying to get that shed down. But yes, I moved the clematis that was on the side of the shed to here, and currently using a bamboo cane to get it to stay up. So yeah, that's that. That over there is for my raised bed. I haven't done that bit yet. But yeah, I have moved this dianthus to here. This is huge, this dianthus. It's got quite woody, so I might actually get rid of it at the end of this season, although it's lovely. Yeah, I've had it for many years, and as you see, it's very, very woody. But yeah, that's the area, looking a lot better. And because a gardener's job is never done, join me in part 3 as I tackle the whole of this border and get rid of a lot of weeds, create some pockets of soil and get some plants and bulbs in. See you then.